Hi, this is Ike from Groovy Entertainment. Today we got another book to read for you. Today's book is The Adventure of Pocahontas, Indian Princess from 1994. So let's get started. Many years ago, a young Indian girl lived in the forest with her father, the chief of a mighty tribe. Her name was Pocahontas, and she was as fresh and lovely as a spring morning. Each day she would walk the forest trails, filling her basket with delicious red berries that grew wild along the way. One morning, as she wandered through the forest, Pocahontas heard strange noises ahead. The sound came from the small beach where the young men of the tribe often went to fish. Creeping slowly through the trees, she reached the edge of the forest. Standing along the sandy shore was a small group of men. Pocahontas gasped as she saw them. They were not men from her village. They were paleface. Pocahontas had never seen white men before. Amazed, she hid behind a large rock and watched them working on the beach. The men were bringing supplies from a great sailing ship, where rocked slowly offshore. "Oh my," whispered Pocahontas, "I got to tell father." Pocahontas ran swiftly back to the village and busted into the log hut where her father, Chief Pow, sat with the council of elders. "Father, the men, they are white like ghosts. Their ships as long as 20 canoes." "Calm down, daughter," Pow said. "What are you talking about?" Quickly, Pocahontas told the story of the Paleface tribe and their mighty ship. Chief Pow and the others sat silently, listening to her exciting words. When she finished, the chief spoke. "So the white man had come again, as he did in the time of our fathers. Those here old enough to remember knows well the trouble that followed their last visit to our land. There was of agreement amongst the council. The elder medicine man, Tag, rose to his feet, angry, showing on his wrinkled face. "I know the way of the white man. Do not forget they are not like us," the old man said. "They do not respect the land. They will not respect our people. I say the white men must be driven back into the sea. We cannot wait until they grow strong and come at us with their fire sticks. Still, we cannot judge those men by the act of others," Powell declared. "Let us see what is in their hearts." The next morning, Chief Powell sent a small band of his finest braves to meet the pale-faced chief and bring him to the village for a meeting. 10 Bears, a huge young brave, led the group. Pocahontas fought the white chief, right, fought the white chief handsome in his crisp uniform. She sat behind her father as the man spoke. "I am honored to sit with you, so great a chief," said Captain Smith, bowing. "You are kind to ask us here." "I did not ask you here to be kind. I must know what is in your heart," Chief Powell replied. "We wish nothing but to live in peace. Our queen had ordered these men and myself to build a fort here in her name. We wish only a small piece of land to build one. The winter comes soon. Will you not hunt our games?" Chief Powell asked. "We should stay north of the river. I will order my men to hunt only where you say. I give you my word," Captain Smith promised. "Very well," said Powell. "I will believe you, but beware. If you break your word, you will face me again." During the next week, Pocahontas often went to watch the men as they built their fort. The handsome captain shown her the strange tools they used and even asked her to visit his great ship. Pocahontas and Captain Smith soon grew quite fond of each other. As the cold winter wind started, the white men sat in their small log fort and looked out at the bare trees. Captain Smith, the men are hungry. Already our poor supplies of meat is nearly gone. We cannot find enough deer in these woods. All the deer must be on the other side of the river. Captain Smith nodded and pulled his cloak tightly around his shoulder. I know, Lieutenant, but the men will have to look harder. We have to find deer on our side of the river. That was our agreement with Chief Powell. We must keep our word if we are to live in peace. But a few days later, the hungry soldier came back to the fort with a fat deer slung on a pole. They told Captain Smith they had chased it across the river on Indian land. Food, the captain roared. I gave my word we would keep to this side of the water. You must return the deer at once to the Indians before the men could argue. On the fort walls cried out, Captain, Indians. It was true. A large band of Indian braves surrounded the fort. Tin Bear was in the lead. His face was painted with symbols of war. In his hand he had held a long spear. John Smith, you have broken your word, Tin Bear shouted. You must face the wrath of Powell. Come out, or we should burn your fort to the ground. Don't go, sir, one man called. We won't let them take you. No, I must go, Captain Smith replied. I must answer for our action. Captain Smith went with the Indian back to the village. He was met by Chief Powell. Pocahontas stood beside him, a worried look in her eyes. So I see now that you are indeed not to be trusted, Powell said. You have taken deer from our side of the river. I allowed you to live here as a neighbor, and now you have betrayed me. Captain Smith tried to speak, but the great chief raised his hand for silence. Powell's face was dark and grave. You have broken our laws. The punishment is death. Pocahontas broke from her father's side and ran to Captain Smith. Father, no, Captain Smith meant us no harm, cried Pocahontas. It is only one deer. He does not know the laws. His men are hungry. Have mercy. Are not our people hungry too? Daughter, this thief goes unpunished. Will there not be more? The winter is hard, and it will be hard to find food for our own people. It is the law. Then, Father, if you will use the law, I must say, well, I use the right of claiming. It is the right of anyone in the tribe to claim a captor for their own. I claim John Smith for my own. Powell raged, but the law of the tribe applied to all. So at last, he said, very well, daughter. You are clever. He is yours. We will spare his life. As winter went on, Captain Smith taught Pocahontas many things. He told her stories of his home, England, of sailing across the great ocean, and of his meeting with the Queen. In return, Pocahontas taught him the secret of the forest. Soon the two became best friends. One day, Powell came to see them while they were gathering firewood in the forest. John Smith, you have proven yourself a good man. My daughter trusts you, and I am and I no longer have reason to doubt your words. You may return to your fort. I thank you, pal. I will return to my men, Captain Smith said. And most of all, thank you, Pocahontas. You saved my life, and you believed me. I owe you everything. Someday I would love to bring you to England to meet the Queen. And so it was. John Smith returned to the fort, and with the knowledge of the forest Pocahontas taught him, the men were able to find enough food to last through the long cold winter. And when Captain Smith returned to England in the spring, Pocahontas went with him, and she was honored by the Queen for saving the life of Captain Smith and his men. So that was the adventure of Pocahontas, Indian Princess, for 1994. So if you like, subscribe, share, and comment, have a groovy day with another video coming out real soon.